So Tim, welcome to the Business Advisory Show. How are you today?
I'm really good, thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to come and chat with you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm hoping you would just graciously just share a little about some of the things you've already spoken about earlier today for the group, the Zero Pre-Con event downstairs, and just expand on that if that's okay.
Right. I was really excited when Heather asked me to come and MC today because I thought it was an opportunity as the MC to share a bit of information that perhaps somebody didn't know something about. It's easy for people to check online, LinkedIn, to find out what Tim Hoopmann does in his business. But today what I wanted to do was to share the work that Beyond Blue are doing for small business and small business advisors and the guide that's coming out now. I was very privileged over the last year to work on a national stakeholder group that they put together. They brought together some really important people that deal with small business, from franchises to the tax office to other associations through bookkeepers and accountants that at the coalface dealt with small business, and they wanted us to help them put together a guide that really went to help advisors and small business start a conversation about mental health.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back on this particular topic and share my own personal endorsement of this for very selfish reasons, but also I think they're vital and widespread. So what do you enjoy most about that last 12 months and what you've discovered, I guess, through being so active in that?
I think one of the most interesting things for me is throughout my life I've had the privilege and the joy to do some very exciting things, be they personal, be they business-wise, be they family adventures, whatever it is. I've done a lot of things. However, 2 years ago I sold my business, and I had some time on my hands and I wanted to give back. I chose Beyond Blue for a number of reasons. They deal with anxiety, depression and suicide prevention. And that is a subject, as a small business owner, that was very dear to me, and I certainly had struggled with poor mental health through some time running my business. So I wanted to give back, so I was able to step into that realm as a volunteer, then move in to being a volunteer speaker for them. And I've learned a lot more about good mental health, and now one of the key things in terms of the work for small business is to be able to go out and share with them that it's important to have a conversation about good mental health, and to also take the stigma away of any of us, like a conversation like this, catching up for a beer and checking in with people and asking them, are they okay, without people thinking, oh, is there an ulterior motive, what's going on?
Yeah, it's such an amazingly important thing. I've been mentoring accountants, bookkeepers and their clients for many, many years, and what I've found is that it's so lonely in small business, and so many of them, including the accountants and bookkeepers, it's not until there's a significant amount of trust as their coach or advisor that they'll really open up if there is a mental health challenge. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think two things about that. One is, as a bookkeeper or an accountant, you are dealing with, sometimes hundreds of small business owners, and some of those are in distress. Not all the time, but some of the time. The flip side of that is the bookkeepers and accountants are also small business owners themselves. And one of the key things that I've learnt is that the very first thing you do is you take care of your mental health, and you be in the best possible frame of mind to run your business and then to help others. And the best way you can help someone is if you see them looking overwhelmed or their behaviour has changed, start a conversation with them. Be genuine about it and just ask them, how's it going? I've noticed some change. Are you okay? It's a great starter. You've got to be genuine. You've got to sit like we are. You've got to be facing one another. You've got to be not surrounded with noise or phone or anything like that. You need to put all your attention on that person and check in with them.
Yeah, it's so true. It's such a great piece of advice. We are looking into the best practice program, we've done a lot of this lately around auto-suggestion or listening to great audio books that are putting good stuff in so that you're not allowing, I guess, your own thought demons, to run away with yourself, if you've got some time on your hands. I think negative thinking's a big, it can be a real issue.
Yeah, absolutely. When Beyond Blue talk about your mental health, they talk about taking care of yourself physically, they talk about being social, but they also talk about what you think, because daily, all the time we're thinking different things. So if we're thinking positive things, it's going to help us in our everyday life. If the negative thinking comes in, then that can have a very bad impact. And the thing about it is, it might happen to anyone, but be aware of it and be happy to do something about it early, not push it aside or, oh, that'll go away, or it's kind of been thinking about that a while. Do something about it. Go and talk to someone.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see as the most important challenges for a small business owner in the modern world today?
Ooh, I think there's lots. One of them is potentially isolation. Even if you're running a team, if you're the only owner of that business, it can be very, very lonely. And often in that loneliness, you don't know where to go. So things like business coaches and mentors and all of those kind of support people that you can surround yourself with is really, really important. And one of the other things of that, and the thing that I struggled with over the years, is I would take all my issues with my small business home and I'd drop it on the table at home. And that wasn't good, because you were bringing it into the home. I was going over and over and over it, and it wasn't good for the family. It's not good for yourself. It's not good for your partner. It's not good for the home. You need to be able to share that with other people outside of that. Yes, in all cases, we have wonderful family and friends that want to support us, but there is a limit.
Yeah, there certainly is. And I think that business owners, particularly if they are a sole director, solopreneur, they put themselves last on many levels, particularly services industries where you're always worried about serving the customer. Yeah, absolutely. And back to the point of isolation. If you're a sole trader, you can be even more isolated. But, there's great networks of associations and people, and, there's wonderful things like Xerocon that you go to, that you get a few days away from your business, you get to interact with like-minded people, and it's a great opportunity to share, to learn from one another, and, in some cases, when you know people really good, just take some time to share with them. If you're struggling with something, perhaps somebody else will have an insight or a piece of advice or just a listening ear that'll make you feel better. Yeah, that's such good advice. If you had your time over in your career, what have been the checkpoints that if you could rewrite them and just make some subtle differences, or do the time machine thing, what might you do differently?
Okay, one of the things that I would do differently when I ran my own business is I would have understood and had a focus on mental health within my business.
Yeah, right.
I think I would definitely do that differently, because it would have helped me personally and it would have helped my team.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Anything else you'd like to share with us today, Tim?
Probably what I always like to leave people with is help is available. There are many and varied ways. Beyond Blue do some great work in that area. They have a 1300 number that's manned 24/7 by clinical staff. Help is there. Go out if you're not feeling right and get some help.
That's great advice, and look, I've been through a lot of stuff prior to a fairly messy divorce, 3 or 4 years in denial, leading up to that. And if I wasn't in a really bad place, then I don't know who was. So it's great advice. I've really enjoyed it. It's been therapeutic just listening to you today. So thanks for being on the show.
Thanks very much, John. Bye-bye.